Hi, thanks a lot for agreeing to this interview. So I'll just go right with the first
Yeah.
question. What do you like the most about your character, Katie?
I think what I like the most about Katie is probably her sense of humor and her kind of impulsiveness. I think that she's one to just go to Vegas at any time. I'm like that as well. And I also think she's a really loyal and trustworthy friend. I think she's a really good friend to Shang-Chi, and I admire that in her.
Yeah. Uh, do you find her like relatable to you or like to any millennial living out there?
I love how you just threw all of us under the bus like that. Yeah, no, I do relate to her a lot. Yeah, I think we look at the world the same. I think that I've definitely felt similar pressures that Katie feels between kind of her American and Asian identity. And so, I think that she is kind of I think that her struggles are very similar to a lot that millennials struggle with, like
Yeah.
what am I going to do with my life, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So even though Katie sometimes seems like a sidekick character, but she has her own story and her own development through the movie. So how do you see the future of this character? Do you think she can like have some superpowers, or is like being a millennial is her superpower?
Can you imagine? That would be the worst superpower.
Yeah.
You want to know what mine is? I'm a millennial. Okay. I buy things on Amazon. That's no, I think I don't know what's in store for Katie, but I know that she has a really good mindset on life. I think that she's really open to new things, and I think that she's about to really experience kind of what's in this world, right? This like crazy world. So I just hope that whatever her journey is, she's with Shang-Chi in to some capacity, because I think they make a good team.
Yeah. So I saw the movie and there were scenes where you used like a bow and arrow. Have you actually like did it before, or you like trained hard for it?
Yeah, I never did it before. And it was really cool to be able to learn something like that. I did have to learn how to do it.
Mhm.
It's a very challenging sport. It takes a lot of focus, but ultimately I really enjoyed it. It's always cool to like learn something new for a movie.
Do you want to continue with that?
I don't know, because a lot of birds in my neighborhood. So I don't want to accidentally, God forbid, that would be horrible. Or, myself if it has a boomerang effect. So I think it's best to do it. I mean, might consider it with like some trained professionals, maybe the future. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So what was like the most fun part of making this movie?
I would say every day was a fun day to come to work. There was never, I think that there were really intense, complicated sequences and scenes that sometimes would take weeks, but there was always a warm group mentality. So I really enjoyed the movie every day. But the bus sequence, for instance, the scaffolding sequence, those were really, really cool to shoot. And it also just kind of exemplifies like how much work goes into this stuff, how many people are involved, and how, yeah, it's really impressive and cool to see.
And what was there like a moment which was like so hard when you felt like, oh gosh, I need like to get over myself and like do something really, really which is out of my comfort zone, but I need to do this. But it was like really, really hard.
I mean, I think everything, I think I felt really safe with everything that we were doing. In terms of hard, I think that's kind of the pressure I put on myself. It's like there were a fair degree of action environments, right, where I'm not necessarily in these like crazy stunt scenes, but like there's a lot going on, and I think I really wanted to sell that this is a person that's really kind of fighting for her life. So like that's like something that I think I found maybe a little challenging at first, just to approach that all the chaos of that. But yeah, it comes with action movies, and this was I think a lot more than that too. Yeah.
Have you actually like dreamt of being in a superhero movie like in childhood or like in teenage years?
Uh, I don't think so, just because it just was so impossible. I don't think that it would even be like, it's like dreaming of being like, like anything that's just arbitrarily really impossible and crazy. And I think, even more specifically, I never imagined that I'd even be doing movies at all. You know what I mean? And especially to do a movie like in the MCU that you really care about. It's very cool.
Yeah. Do you think that like there is a good dynamic on the way the women are shown and represented in superhero movies specifically? Because we had like a Black Widow recently, and like Shang-Chi had like great badass women. Like, is there like really a good dynamic, or we have like a long way coming?
Well, I think, I think we're seeing a lot of like really strong female representation and really kind of strong different kind of roles, right? So instead of always maybe being like in a typical Hollywood narrative, like a love interest, right? I think there's more dynamic and dimension to a lot of these female characters that we see in all movies. So I think as those roles and those kinds of things change, I think that we progress and those roles progress. And I think so do, how women exist in the world. Yeah. So I see really good things, and it also goes into why Shang-Chi is very important because of its kind of the way that it culturally represents the Asian community and culture. Yeah.
That's cool. So we actually mostly write about animation. So do you have like your favorite animated series or cartoons?
I grew up on a show called Rugrats. I like
Oh,
loved a show
okay.
called Rugrats. It was like my favorite show. I love SpongeBob. Like I still watch SpongeBob, not gonna lie. I really liked Arthur, which actually they stopped
Mhm.
making it recently, but I love that Aardvark and his crazy sister, DW.
That's nice. Rugrats actually had like a recently had a reboot, I think.
Oh yeah, I think yeah, that would be great. I hope it's not like live action,
No, it's
like
not
with
live action,
where
but
it's
it's
like you
like
could see like the.
yeah, but it's like I think it's CG and but it looks fine.
Nice.
It looks good. Yeah. Thanks a lot for this interview.
Thank you. It was a
Bye.
pleasure. Thanks.